Welcome back. Today, I'm going to share this article by Newsweek. The title of this article is U.S. Housing Market Looks, quote, a lot like 2008 housing crash, housing bubble, according to this real estate analyst. Now, I'm going to do a deep dive. I'm going to read behind the headlines. You have to dive deeper because the headlines could be very misleading. Now, first of all, I know Newsweek is a very credible organization, and you would assume the people that comes on as a guest for this credible news organizations, they have done their background, they're very credible, they are expert in their field. But I'm going to share with you my opinion. At the same time, I want you to share your opinion as well and comment below. So the author of this article, this individual name, if you follow the YouTube channel in the past few years, you will know the author of this particular article that's going to talk about this. And I will dive deeper into this article momentarily. His name is Nick Gurley. He's with Reventure Consulting. Now, if you dive deeper into the YouTube channel, you will notice Mr. Nick Gurley. He's, in my opinion, he is the king of the housing bros, housing crash. He reports on housing crash for the past 5 years, even probably longer, maybe around 7, 8 to 9 years. And look, negative news sells. So Nick Gurley with Reventure Consulting, he predicts a housing crash for the past few years. It hasn't happened. So his headline is very catchy, very negative. Consequently, he monetized his channel, right? He has around more than 500,000 subscribers that people that gravitate to his doom and gloom housing crash channel. Is pretty much clickbait, all right? And a lot of information he shared is just lacks content, it lacks data point, and he just mislead people. He creates a lot of inaccuracies. But at the same time, negative news sells, and he's monetizing his channel. And at the same time, in my opinion, he caused a lot of people to stay on the sidelines, and instead of buying properties as a owner-occupied person or as a real estate investor. So look, I've been doing this for more than 2 decades, consulting, real estate investing, but I just want to share my experience and what I've seen on the YouTube channel. We have not seen any housing crash, just so you know. I will elaborate more into that. But let's go over his article that came out about a week ago. Very catchy headline. It's all clickbait. U.S. housing market looks a lot like 2008 housing crash bubble, according to Mr. Nick Gurley, real estate analyst, they call it. So I don't know how he managed to put himself in front of the major organization. He does a very good job of marketing and promoting himself. He's a salesman. If he convinced Newsweek and other credible organizations to be a guest host, then he must be doing something right in terms of marketing. For that, I give him I give kudos. But let's dive deeper into this. Potentially, what I see is a very misleading article. And just so you know, if a person keep predicting there's a housing crash, eventually that person is going to be right. But Mr. Nick Gurley have not been right so far. Right now, yes, there's a lot of challenging situations going on in the housing market, but it's far from a crash at this very moment because we still have a acute housing shortage across the U.S. And also there's still very few transactions, and there's a lot of people are sitting on their low historic mortgage. There are 40% of the homeowners in the country, they have no mortgage at all, and 80% of the homeowners in the country, they have a mortgage rate under 5%. So the demand of homes are still higher than supply, believe it or not. If you look at the Redfin news article, currently there's a 4 months supply of inventory. A balanced market is 4 to 6 months of supply. A balanced market is a healthy market. That means there are equal amount of buyers and versus the equal amount of sellers. So right now we are at 4 months supply inventory. 4 to 6 months is a balanced market. So we're still technically in a seller's market. That means the seller dictates the terms and prices of homes. I'm talking nationwide. I know real estate is very local. We all understand that. So just bear that in mind. We are still in the seller's market, technically speaking. So for that reason and other additional data points, to this point, I have not seen any data that show there will be a housing crash imminent. But again, I know you guys want to learn about what the article says that he produced. So here it is, right here. As rising home prices and stubbornly high mortgage rates continue to keep American home buyers on the sidelines, the country's housing market is, quote, beginning to look like a lot like 2008, and end quote, according to Nick Gurley. Then he says, you have to read deep into the headline. Then he says, at least for home builders. See that this word alone, it just caused me some concern. So he specifically talked about home builders. Home builder is not the national home market. Home builder is only a small component of the housing transaction. I would say 15% of the nation's transactions come from new construction, at least for home builders. So this is a very small sample size. It's not a national data that this article gonna show that will predict any impending housing crash occurring. All right, that's fine. Let's go down the article. And right here. Yep. So again, he just talked to one of the builder, LGI builder, and the builder in probably in Florida, and he just Mr. Nick sensationalized this quick interview he conducted with this builder, which is LGI Homes in Florida, and he says, he quote Nick Gurley said, "It's beginning to look a lot like 2008, at least for home builders." It's just a home builder. It's just it's a specific market where home builders building homes. Is not, this data does not show anything remotely about what's going on nationally in all the big picture, all the data I just shared with you. So he said, I look at this picture outside of a home builder site 45 minutes north of Tampa. By the way, he lives in Tampa, Mr. Nick Gurley, so he have easy access to all the local housing market in the Tampa region, Florida. And if you notice, a lot of his videos that he walked around, he showed a video of him walk around some construction sites, and it just over sensationalized what's happening with his very misleading, inaccurate data. So then he says, let me continue on the picture he took. Then he said they had over 20 vacant spec houses completed for sale and are advertising zero down mortgages to try to move inventory. 20 spec homes. Is this just a little area that have 20 spec homes, which is pretty common when you will walk around any new construction site? New homes zero down, I could be wrong, but 0% down is really for owner-occupied homes for military veterans, the VA loans, veteran administration loans, which I happen to be a Army veteran. So I purchased a lot of 0% down loans. And of course, the other loans that are very low down payment are 3.5% FHA mortgage for owner-occupied home buyers as well, low down payment. And then there's some other loan program for homeowners, for owner-occupied buyers, around 5% down. So we basically have around 3 loan programs that applies to home buyers, primary home buyers, owner-occupied, 0% down VA loan, 3.5% down FHA loans, and 5% down. So I'm pretty sure that this is the situation that the LGI, the home builder that he's showing on this article, zero down is only for 0% down VA loan, not for any other primary buyers. So I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. So this is a very misleading quote by Mr. Nick Gurley, the alleged author of this particular article. It's such a small sample size. Of course, Newsweek, they want a clickbait article, so they want more subscribers. They want people to click in this kind of article. That's how you make money. That's how this news organization make money, by creating highly negative news sales, right? We all know that on historical basis. And human beings, we gravitate towards negativity. That's the YouTube Wild Wild West, right? And then his screenshot, as I show you already, of the homes site listed for sale on Zillow shows 12 new homes completed and moving ready with price tags ranging from minimum of 286K to a maximum of 383K. That's fine. And my highlight, he says right here, he says, Mr. Nick Gurley says, what's interesting is that the builder agent told me they were going to start converting these homes homes for rent. Gurley said, I'm guessing it's because they want to start on the next phase of construction and they simply can't do it with that 20 vacant lot for sale. In addition to offering 0% down mortgages, LGI Homes is also offering rent to own for their newly constructed properties, Gurley said. Both of these anecdotes are hugely reminiscent of what we saw near the peak of the last bubble in 2007, he said. This paragraph is so misleading. Builders, national builders, local builders, they allocate certain of their homes for build to rent. That means only for renters, right? Let's say in a particular builder community, new construction community from a particular builder, there are 100 homes. They allocate maybe 80 of the homes for owner-occupied buyers, and the maybe 20% of the new constructions that is built for rent is only for renters. Built for rent business model has been going on for years, and that's because of the affordability factors. A lot of people cannot buy homes anymore because of the skyrocketing of home prices in the past few years and the elevated mortgage rate that put a lot of people, they can't afford to buy, so they have to rent. So a lot of these builders, they convert a percentage of their new construction homes for rental purposes. So that's what they've been doing for years and years. That's how they create their profit margin, right? That's their business model. So there's nothing wrong with using some of their new homes for rental purposes, built to rent. So there's nothing burger on this particular paragraph stated. That doesn't mean housing crash is going to occur nationwide, right? I highlight this. There's an advantage for home builders to turn the properties into rent for homes. Of course, there's an advantage, right? They get the house to renter, and then that's another way they profit. So how is this similar to the 2008 crisis, the housing crash that occurred back then? The same is now happening with large builders reporting their biggest use of incentives in over a decade, Gurley said. Of course, builders are using incentives to move their homes. They're offering rate buy downs, right, to home buyers and investors also. My investors, myself personally, I am buying new constructions, low entry-level homes for cash flow as an investment home. And the builders are offering incentives. They're offering 4.75% 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It's a rate buy down. The builders are offering 2%. They pay 2% of closing costs, and they reduce their pricing maybe 5 to 10%, not that much. So they want to move. The builders' business model is they need to move the inventory, and by providing this incentives for home buyers and investors to take advantage of these great incentives, and they're able to move the inventory accordingly. Builders, that's how they do business, and they systematically allocate certain homes for sale, and then they start construction, new homes. They're getting new permits for down the road, a couple of years down the road. They're not going to overbuild. The builders are not going to overbuild. They know how to do the market research, so they know what they're doing. They understand the market dynamics. Is this a problem for the entire country or Florida alone? I know Florida have excess inventories, and also several other states in the country also have excess inventories, new construction. They're doing a pretty good job of selling the homes using the incentive, as I described earlier. Further, according to Nick Gurley, the author of this article, as I said, in the South and Mountain West, a legitimate 2007, 2008 situation is currently starting to occur in terms of inventory, incentives, and desperate tactics like 0% down mortgages. Again, this is a very misleading. 0% down, uh, again, you may comment below, right? 0% down is only applies to ex-veterans like myself, veteran VA loans, veteran administration loans with 0% down payment. There is no other loan program that have 0% down nationwide that I'm aware of. They're all provided by the builders or by any lenders, to my knowledge, right? I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Furthermore, so this statement right here is very misleading. But in the North, East, and Midwest, quote, that isn't really happening, he said. There is very little builder inventory in these markets, which is true. Supply is still tight and prices are still gaining at a healthy clip. Realistic is local, right? Every zip code is different. There's no such thing as a national real estate market. You have to take that into consideration. Lastly, last month, National Association of Home Builders, NAHB Housing Market Index, or HMI, reported that the U.S. home builders' confidence was sinking amid fears surrounding the potential impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on the construction sector. It was down 5 points from January and 6 points from a year earlier to 42, which is the lowest level in 5 months. Trump's tariff on countries like Canada, from which the U.S. imports a lot of softwood timber used in home building, could increase the cost of constructing a new home and discourage home builders from starting new projects. That's right. The tariff, the consequences of the tariff that's going on, that will cause the supply chain issue, and any new homes that are going to be built in the foreseeable future will have increased costs, 10 to 15% higher cost of construction. All right? Think about this. So if you are my investors, I tell my investors to buy the new homes, entry-level homes to cash flow in a market that I'm promoting all over South and Southeast before the housing costs will go up 10 to 15% as a result of the tariff. So new construction homes will be more expensive regardless of what's going to happen in the economy. See, that's how it goes. That itself, it doesn't matter about the up and down and challenging housing market dynamics. New constructions for foreseeable future will cost more. And because of the supply chain issues, because of the tariff, the home builders' confidence level is also very low. So they're not going to build too many homes moving forward. The permit to build homes has decreased recently. So the home builders' confidence level has decreased as a result of this economic situation that we are facing right now from the Trump administration. So the fact of this article partially is correct. And we already have pretty much a housing shortage. In the past few years, the builders are doing the best they could to provide inventory to the housing market. They have done a pretty good job using incentives and rate buy downs and what have you, because the resale market has been very low. In fact, a year ago, we have a historic low supply of housing transactions, right? Because of the lock-in effect. People have such a historical low mortgages. They are sitting pretty. They're not going to sell their homes where they have like 3% mortgage to move up as a move-up buyer to buy a home with 7% mortgage, right? Essentially doubling their mortgage payment. So there's a lock-in effect going on in nationwide. So that's what's happening. Again, so my takeaway from this article is misleading because the data clearly, if you look at Redfin, if you look at Realtor.com, if you look at CoreLogic, if you look at any of the national news media and you follow the correct data, we are still at a seller's market. 4% supply of inventory. So for this article headline to say the 2008 housing bubble is imminent based on the information for this article, and the guess was none other than doom and gloom, doom porn, and housing crash bro, the king of the housing crash bro, Mr. Nick Gurley of Reventure Consulting. For that reason, this article, in my opinion, loses credibility. It's not coming from a person who follow the data analytically, and he's not Mr. Nick Gurley is not a data analyst. He's nothing more than a doom and gloom housing crash bros who report housing crash so we can get subscribers, so we can more subscribers, so he can monetize his channel. He can make money off all those clicks, all those subscribers that he inherit, which is a shame. So that's my takeaway. I would love to have your comments. What do you think of my opinion? What do you think of the data as presented in this article? Do you think it is accurate? It is legitimate? The data that was provided in this article? I don't think so. It's just my opinion. I've been doing real estate for more than 20 years. So I know what I'm talking about. All right. So please comment below. What do you think? Otherwise, if you receive any value from this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, finally, if you have not already done so, put your email into my website below so you can become a free member of our real estate investing community. So you learn, you get free information on a weekly basis about real estate investing, regardless of where you live, buying turnkey cash flow rent homes in the best markets in the country. That's what we help people do. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.